With an attack duty, the wide centre-back is willing to make regular overlapping and underlapping runs to create 2v1 situations, and also has a higher tendency to dribble with the ball. So if the wide centre-backs have a tendency to dribble with the ball often, why don't we give them some really good players who are talented at dribbling with the ball and have ourselves a little experiment. Yes, I'm going to put Salah and Mane as wide centre-backs on attack and simulate the whole season to see how they do. Whether it works and they get a lot of goals and assists, we'll soon find out. If we do find some decent goals and assists, we'll show you in this video. Now, the idea of this video came from when I was on a live stream. Somebody told me and sent me the Facebook post, but I am aware it's also been put on Reddit, and Work the Space has decided to also try the same experiment. Whether he posts it or not, I'm not too sure. He hasn't done yet. So maybe we've both had the same video out at the same time, but it'd be fun to watch to see if we have different results, I guess. However, it's not just Liverpool that I'm going to do this with. I have also set myself up as the Bayern Munich manager, we can see here, and we have Leroy Sané on the left, Serge Gnabry on the right. Very different tactic, well, slightly different tactic. We got shadow striker role there for Thomas Muller or Musiala, and Real Madrid. We also are the manager of Real Madrid, and we're going to try this with Hazard on the left, Vinicius Jr. on the right. Very similar to the Liverpool tactics. So I'll go through this tactic because I've just built it just for the sake of the video, to be honest, but it could work quite well. Advanced forward or a deep line forward. We've got a box-to-box midfielder, deep line playmaker on support, the halfback. Now, the idea of the halfback is because we've got the two wide centre-backs on attack, they're going to be bombing forward. We kind of need a little bit more security, so the halfback has that, and I think each team has a very good player who can play in the halfback. We've got Fabinho at Liverpool, we've got Casemiro at Real Madrid, and Joshua Kimmich looks like a really good halfback, in my opinion, for Bayern Munich. Of course, we've got the two wing backs on either side of a centre defender on defence. A lot of these teams, or all three of these teams, have decent centre-backs which hopefully can do the job. I mean, Virgil van Dijk is amazing on this game at centre-back, probably the best, so he will probably slot in there. And yeah, I mean, let's simulate. We're going to come back at different points because of the way Football Manager is. It doesn't hold enough data, so if they are scoring goals throughout the season, we might not see it. Let's see how this does. Right, we've come back in November. We've played a good amount of games, 11 games so far. Liverpool, they're second in the league. It does seem like this is not doing too bad, to be honest. Manchester United somehow are top, haven't lost any games. The only game that we have lost is to Manchester United. And we've had a bad few run recently. Draws against Newcastle, Arsenal and Manchester United, but picking up with a good win against Watford there, 6-0. But it is no shock that the most dribbles made is Liverpool, because we probably have the most players on the pitch who are told to dribble with the ball. 235 dribbles made in just 11 matches. It's not bad at all, to be honest. And my expectations really of this is, I don't think they'll perform as well as usually a normal tactic, but maybe I think we'll get some games where we just overpower teams because we have the attacking force in numbers. Now, so far this season, Mohamed Salah has scored 7 goals in 16 games with 1 assist, and he has an average rating of 7.17. Sadio Mane is not having as great a season. He's missed 2 games as well, probably for injury, and I am finding in the beta we're getting a lot of injuries, especially in my beta save, twitch.tv/MegaLukeGaming. We're controlling Leipzig right now. Come across and say hello on Twitch. Sadio Mane, 1 goal, 2 assists, a 7 average rating, still decent, but 7 goals. I mean, we will look at this because there are going to be some penalties. I think he is penalty taker. So only 2 penalties. Only 2 of the goals that he scored are penalties. Now, interestingly enough, Salah scored in that 6-0 win against Watford in the very first minute. We can see Jota moving the ball down. Salah is so high at the pitch and he smashes one in on his right foot, cutting inside, which made me think maybe I should change the sides and put Salah on the right and just see how that does, because if he is receiving the ball quite often in that same area, he's cutting inside on his better left foot, and we all know Salah is incredible at curling that ball into the top corner. So I'm going to try that for the second part of the season. The rest of the teams I'm going to leave and see how that does. But before we do that, let's have a look to see how Bayern Munich are doing so far in their competitions. The Champions League, they have won 3, drew 1, so that's their qualified. That's good. The DFB Pokal, I don't think they've played many games at all yet, but in the league, they are right on the tails of Borussia Dortmund. They have lost to Bayer Leverkusen and to Cologne, but Borussia Dortmund, of course, they've got some incredible players, so they are sort of really difficult this year compared to. Serge Gnabry, no goals, neither has Leroy Sané, but they do have a fair amount of assists. I've got a feeling Sané's good at free kicks. He is, so he probably is the free kick taker, but let's see if there's any more. And we can see in a very recent game, Serge Gnabry picks up the ball down that right-hand side where he is more familiar now. Even though he's playing centre-back, he runs all the way down the wing, crosses it in for a Lewandowski goal. Not bad, to be honest. The same can be said for Leroy Sané. In this game against Monaco, he finds himself very familiar position on that left-hand side. He cuts inside, he gets very lucky. It does look like that shot might be hitting the post, maybe going in, but it gets hit against the player and popped in, and he does pick up an assist for it. So, I mean, I'm not arguing. We can see, though, that Gnabry only has a 6.2 rating in this game. This is not the same game where he got the assist. And Sané, despite having an assist, only a 6.9 average rating. Upamecano and Neuer gets higher ratings, possibly because they are kind of carrying these two in defence. So it's very interesting to see the dynamic and how different this is from game to game. Sometimes they're having an incredible game, sometimes they're having stinkers like Serge Gnabry. Real Madrid, on the other hand, although they're doing very well in the Champions League, they find themselves in 8th position in the Spanish First Division. 3 games they have lost so far, 2 against Barcelona and Atletico Madrid. And goals-wise, I mean, Eden Hazard has 4 goals. I think they might all be penalties. No, 2 were penalties, 3 were penalties. So he scored 1 from open play, and Vinicius Jr. is on the score sheet with 1 as well. Now, the second stop finds us in February. This is going to be the last stop before the end of the season, and Liverpool are starting to win the league. They've just took over because they've defeated Manchester United and jumped 3 points ahead of said Manchester team. Only 1 loss throughout the whole season again. That's Manchester United. So this is kind of playing out like a Liverpool team would have done, obviously, the last couple of seasons in the Premier League. Very little losses and just drawing the odd game every now and then, winning majority of them. The rest of the competitions, they're finding themselves in the first round, second leg in the Champions League against Zebra, Juve, as we all know them. 1-1 so far in the first leg, so that's not bad at all. FA Cup, they're in the 5th round, so they're kind of having a decent season, if you ask me. And the 2 players, Sadio Mane's actually out. He's got an injury, which, again, the injuries are quite bad in the beta, I'm finding. 4 to 7 weeks, he's picked up 4 goals, 5 goals, 4 assists, 11 goals for Mohamed Salah, still only that 1 assist. Bayern Munich are still trailing Borussia Dortmund, but they're only 4 points behind. They've lost 3 games in total, including a game against Dortmund. They are also in the Champions League still. They lost their first round leg to Atletico Madrid. That's going to be a difficult tie, and they're in the quarter-final of the Cup. Gnabry and Sané, though, aren't doing as well as anticipated because Sané has 9 assists. That does look quite good, kind of where you'd expect him to be, but again, he is free kick taker. A lot of them could be free kicks. And again, he is injured. 4 to 11 days, a pulled hamstring. Gnabry only 3 goals and not a very good average rating at all. Sané has a better average rating, of course. But what is quite interesting is Robert Lewandowski has 40 goals in 35 games. Realistic, if you ask me. Thank God. I love Robert Lewandowski. And still not very good for Real Madrid. They are 43 points. They are so far behind even second place. It's unbelievable right now. They are also trailing AC Milan 4-2 in the first leg. But we're going to go and have a look at that first leg in a second because Vinicius Jr. has scored only 2 goals and no assists. Eden Hazard has 7 goals, 1 assist. One of the goals was from Vinicius Jr. very recently, and it's quite an interesting one. So despite losing the game, we can see Vinicius Jr. picks a ball up on the wing, and that's what these wide centre-backs seem to be doing. They're finding gaps. A lovely little 1-2 with the fullback, and he smashes it into the top corner. Something that I don't think a wide centre-back who isn't one of these elite wingers would be able to do. The quick 1-2 and be able to have the ability to fire a shot in at the goalkeeper, which has the potential to go in. A lot of these centre-backs don't have very good finishing. So, is that an advantage for these wingers playing in the wide centre-back? I think so. So we find ourselves at the end of the season, and somehow Liverpool have done it. They only lost 2 games this whole year, whether that's because the tactics are amazing or whether because this whole experiment is very overpowered. If I'm honest, this is the one that I thought would fail because of the amount of quality teams in the Premier League. I thought they would really struggle to do this. What is interesting is Chelsea finished in 8th place when I think Chelsea have an incredible team this year, and Leeds finish in 4th, but that's besides the point. How have they done in other competitions? Well, knocked out the semi-final by Manchester United of the Champions League on penalties as well. Quarter-final of the FA Cup by Blackburn. That's a poor result. Blackburn was a bit of a bogey team for them because they also knocked them out of the Carabao Cup. The final standings for these wingers who are playing centre-backs. Sadio Mane, as we can see, has been injured quite a lot of the season. Only scored 5 goals and got 5 assists. Not a bad result, to be honest, for a centre-back. Mohamed Salah got 12 and 4. Now, I'm going to show you exactly the form so we can see that every single one of these games here was playing as a wide centre-back, just so there's no like trickery going on. I mean, you'd probably expect a little bit more goals if there was, but just to make sure there we, and look at the games that they missed as well. Probably could have done with them, if I'm honest. Now, Bayern Munich actually sacked me as their manager when we were in 3rd place. So we take a look at the Bundesliga. They did finish in 3rd place, far and away off Borussia Dortmund. It does look like they really tailed off. When was I sacked on this, by the way? So date left. Oh, it literally was at the end of the season, so that's fine. We played every single game. It just looks like they just played terrible at the end there. So I mean, there isn't many goals that I can see that they're scoring, and we went through a goalless. Oh my god, there's so many games there where we didn't score, including the game against Liverpool. So we actually played against what the wide centre-backs played against the wide centre-backs. Liverpool came up on top. That's quite interesting, to be honest. But what I find amazing is that Real Madrid somehow managed to pull it back and finish in 2nd place despite being like 13 points behind 2nd in February. How they've done this, I don't know. And Valencia have won La Liga, which is unbelievable from them. Let's take a look then, squad-wise. Vinicius Jr. got 4 goals, 1 assist. Eden Hazard, 12 goals, 3 assists. That's not bad at all. He did have 8 penalties though. That's quite a large number. Let's take a look. Form-wise, again, wide centre-backs. There's a lot of goals there. A few assists against Barcelona, against Mallorca. He got a goal and an assist. That's not bad at all. I mean, the average rating of these two is not very high. 6.84 and a 6.76. I have seen these wide centre-backs get very good average ratings. I don't think that's what I was expecting. I mean, Mane and Salah had a bit more inflated average ratings. So is this a good experiment? I think it was quite interesting. I thought this would either be really exploitable or wouldn't work at all. And I think we're more in the middle. And that's what I think I wasn't expecting. What's your thoughts? Let me know down in the comments. Smash a like on the video. And maybe you should be watching this video next on Wonder Kids, who you can approach to sign on free transfers or for very little cost. Thank you. Bye-bye.